Welcome back, and Hala joins me now in the studio. Hala, what's first up today?
Over 100 leaders are in Copenhagen to try and agree on a global pact to reduce greenhouse emissions and help developing countries deal with climate change. And some of China's top entrepreneurs have also held a conference in the Danish capital. As BON's Fergus Thompson explains, they've pledged to increase efforts to reduce carbon emissions and combat climate change.
Business executives representing more than 200 Chinese companies, as well as representatives from NGOs in China, attended the International Conference on Chinese Business and Climate Change in Copenhagen. Wang Shi is chairman of China's multi-billion-dollar real estate development company Vanke. He explains how realization of the dire consequences of rising temperatures hit him.
A visit to Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa made a deep impression on me in 2002. I heard the mountain should have snow on it all year round, but when I went there it didn't have any. Then I understood that due to global warming, the mountain isn't snow-capped all year round. And if the temperature keeps rising at the current rate, Kilimanjaro will have no snow at all in just 30 years.
China has offered to cut its carbon intensity, the output of carbon dioxide per unit of gross domestic product, by 40 to 45% within 11 years from 2005 levels. And Wang Shi said Vanke is willing to contribute its share to help the government realise that goal.
Our hope is that by 2014, renewable energy will account for 5% of all energy consumption in our residential developments.
Now, while efforts by Vanke and other Chinese property developers to produce more energy-efficient buildings are certainly welcome, it is in fact the thousands of coal-fired power stations and factories across the country which produce the bulk of China's carbon emissions. Entrepreneurs here argue that much of what they produce is in fact destined for the developed countries, who benefit from the Chinese manufacturing industry without being saddled with the carbon emissions.
And even China's existing offer has been criticised at the negotiations, particularly by the US. These critics say it still doesn't put a cap on the overall volume of Chinese emissions, which will still grow if its economy continues to expand. Back at the meeting in Copenhagen, the Chinese business representatives released a joint declaration calling for improved protection of the environment. And the fact that high-ranking Chinese business owners have come to Copenhagen at all is a positive step. It is, after all, manufacturers and other businesses from all over the world that will have to implement any carbon reduction measures their governments sign up to at Copenhagen this week. Fergus Thompson, BON.